Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I've got something just a little bit new. It's another league that I'm part of, and this is going to be my sort of draft and first week game from the NPokémon Championship. This is a new sort of league kind of thing. It's been set up basically to try and use lower tiered or less used mons that you don't really see all the time in draft formats. So we've got a lot of NU Pokemon, some others, you know, maybe some of them should be there, maybe some of them shouldn't be there, but we're going to try and use sort of differenter, that's not really a word, but you know what I mean. You're not going to be seeing like Kyurem Black and Azumarill and Landorus and all that kind of stuff. We're seeing low tier stuff going on. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're working with here. I will very briefly take you through the team that I drafted, and then we'll get into the first battle. So, first up, my draft. There was a few things I wanted. I think I was 7th in the draft, and the 3 things I wanted first all got picked, so that was all a bit of a shit show. But my first pick, I decided to take Zangoose because it's a massive threat. I've loved using it in PPL. It's currently 5-2, I think, so Zangoose is one of those things that's going to put the fear of God into people. Then I took Torkoal because it's a great spinner and rock setter. It can run a variety of sets including AV. It's one of my absolute staples in PU and NU on the ladder. And again, I've drafted it before and it's put in a decent showing. Third up, I took Druddigon because Druddigon was there, apparently. I'm excited to use Druddigon. It's got a really nice stat spread, very powerful offensively, can run very nice defensive sets. It's very good at getting chip damage on things through rough skin, rocky helmet status, all that good stuff. It gets decent priority, and it's a dragon, which, you know, in the lower tiers, it's rare to find a fully evolved dragon. They're mostly sort of high tier stuff, so this is one of the few that was going. Fourth, I took Sandslash. Again, this is another absolute staple of a lot of my teams. I've drafted it on several occasions, notably in a victorious PPL season. So, you know, Sandslash, really nice spinner. Again, I wanted to get as many of them as possible because there aren't all that many viable spinners in regular draft, let alone in a low tier one. So I decided to take Sandslash. Fifth, I went for Araquanid. I was going to try and take Floatzel here, but then I noticed Araquanid was there and I was like, okay, why? So I took it. You know, it's nice to have sort of a viable Assault Vest user. In a league where items giving you defensive boosts, you're looking at Eviolite, and one of the rules of this league is you can only have one Eviolite user per individual team. You can draft as many as you want, you can only have one Eviolite user per team that you use in a given week. So Araquanid, very nice Assault Vest user. Again, it's one of the most spammable move and ability combinations in the game in the form of that Water Bubble Liquidation that it's got going on. Very good defensive stats. That massive base 132 speed F ain't nothing to sniff at. So yeah, I haven't had the best of success with it in PPL, but glad to use it here. 6th round, I wanted some more speed. My team was quite slow. I'd like something that can hit specially. Not many of mine could really, or was, you know, my best special attacker there was Torkoal at that time. So I went with Electabuzz. Again, another one I've drafted before. At this point, out of my 6 that I drafted, I'd used 5 in the PPL. The only one I hadn't was Druddigon. Electabuzz was one of my MVPs back in Season 3. I was glad to take it. You know, electric types are, you know, very popular. I wanted to get that sort of nice momentum gaining base 105 speed as great speed tier in any league, especially an NU one. So there was Electabuzz. I wanted some more speed, something that could attack maybe mixed and also just a big hitter. So around 7 I took Archeops. The Archeops is just, you know, head smash. Yes, Defeatus is a problem, but hopefully we can mitigate that with something I picked later on. In fact, next. Archeops is just scary. Base 110, speed, 140 attack, 112 special attack can be used. You've got to try and get around the Defeatus, but there are ways of doing that. So I just kind of want this thing to hit hard and punch holes. In order to try and maybe keep it healthy, my 8th pick, I went with Clefairy. This is going to be my main Eviolite user on the team. I've got 3 that can use Eviolite. This is going to be the one that uses it most, I would imagine. Pretty much every time I bring Clefairy, it's going to be Eviolite. Not too many fairies going, but this one is very good. Clefairy is, of course, very defensive with the Eviolite. It can tank hits all day, every day. It's almost as bad as Clefable. It doesn't get the Unaware, it gets Friend Guard instead. I'm not even sure if that works in singles. I'll have to look into it. But Clefairy can do just as much as what Clefable can do, albeit it can't hold a Kevia Berry or a Babiri Berry, but the Eviolite helps out just as much. Round 9, again wanted more speed, and, you know, I have the likes of Archeops and Electabuzz, but Archeops is most known for physical attack, Electabuzz is base 95 special attack. I wanted a special attacker, an out-and-out special attacker. Round 9, I decided to take Kadabra. Kadabra, you know, much like Alakazam, it does what that does. It's got that magic guard. It's not going to be running Eviolite most of the time, to be honest. This is an offensive, not fully evolved form. Base 120 special attack is nothing to sniff at. It's not even that bad on the special defense side. Base 70 is okay. If I wanted to Eviolite it, I could. I probably won't. And again, we've got base 105 speed on there as well. It has a massive move pool. It's a Kadabra, you know what it does. Round 10, I decided to take Liepard. Liepard is a Pokemon I've wanted to use in draft format for quite a while. It's tricksy, it's awkward, and I think it could do rather well here. Especially in this sort of lower tier stuff. It has base 88 in both offensive stats, 106 speed is a very nice speed tier. There's a lot of 105s floating around. I've got a couple of them, other people have as well. It'll be nice to have something that outspeeds them. And that prankster can just play a few mind games, especially with something I'm going to say in a little bit. And for my last pick, I decided to go with Meganium. Just something nice and defensive. It can do shenanigans. You know, Meganium is not used very much at all anywhere. So, you know, it has its own things that it does, and not many people really use it, so I'm hoping not many people will know exactly what it does, and I can play with that and use some of its weirder sets to my advantage. In this league, we are allowed 2 Z-move users, 1 offensive, 1 Super Z. My offensive Z-move user is going to be Archeops, and my Super Z-move user is going to be Liepard. I'm excited to use both of those, Archeops just for the stupid power, and Liepard for the prankster shenanigans. We'll see exactly what it can do with those. So that is a look over my team. Now we're going to get into my first battle of the league. So we'll see how that goes. We'll hop over to the battle screen right about now. See you there. Okay, here we are in the first game of the league, and we are up against Todd and the Chicago Bouffalants. Now, his team that he could choose from, he had Rabombi as his Super Z-move user, Steelix, Swampert, Flareon, Lurantis, Guzzlord as his regular Z-move user, Rotom, Duosion, Crabominable, Lycanroc, Dayform, and Pineco. So, the things I decided to bring for this team, I'll briefly go over them. I'm not going to do team builders. We have your Common or Garden Zangoose with enough speed to outspeed. Well, he's only got 3 things that outspeed it. I outspeed the next fastest thing, which I can't actually remember what that was, but I outspeed it. I could run Adamant, basically. I've got a what I believe was specially defensive Torkoal. I've got an Assault Vest physically defensive Sandslash. I've got the Groundium Z on Archeops there, a specially defensive Clefairy, and I've got a Life Orb Kadabra. Now, on my opponent's side, Todd has decided to bring Rabombi, Guzzlord, Steelix, Rotom, Lycanroc Day, and Lurantis. All 3 things that are faster than my Zangoose, unfortunately. But we're going to see if we can play around it, so without further ado, let's get right into the battle, see exactly how things played out. So, I'm going to be leading off with my Sandslash in this match. He's going to lead with Steelix. He's not going to want to stay in here. He's going to go out into Lurantis. I'm just going to go for the safe Super Fang, just to see what I can do to anything. And he's going to get leftovers. I don't want to take a hit from this guy. Going to go into my Torkoal to take a Leaf Storm, which I do. And he's Contrary. I completely forgot that these things get Contrary. But it's not too much of a problem. I don't think he's going to want to stay in here. He is in fact going to want to get on out of there, go into Guzzlord. Going to go for Lava Plume, and as you'll see, that's going to snag a tasty burn on the Guzzlord. Now, I really don't know what Guzzlord do. I've never come across one in regular play, so I'm going to go into Clefairy to see what he does. He goes for a Draco. It doesn't do much. Now, at this point, I do make an over-prediction. He is going to go for the Z move, and it's Z Iron Tail Corkscrew Crash. We tank it. I went for a Fire Blast here. I thought he's bound to go into the Steelix, but he isn't. He's not going to go into the Steelix at all, which is unfortunate. He goes for Iron Tail here, but he's burnt. We take it, going to go for Moonblast, and this is the first game that anyone played, so Clefairy gets the first kill of the league. But now in comes Rabombi. I can't let him set up. He just goes for Moonblast. I went for a Thunder Wave there, just in case I could stop him from setting up. But now I go into Torkoal. He's not going to want to stay in here at all. He's going to make a hard switch into Lycanroc. risking the Lava Plume burn, which I go for but I don't get. But it's okay because I have the consummate switch in to a Lycanroc, and that is going to be my Fizdef Sandslash. His Stone Edge does absolutely nothing to me, and he's got to get out of there. And he does, he goes into Rotom, but I do see this one coming, going to go for the knockoff and catch it on the switch, get rid of that thing's spell tag. So, out I go, don't want to take a hit, going to go into Torkoal to absorb a Will-O-Wisp, which is exactly what he does, and that's fine. And now Torkoal can try and fire off another Lava Plume. He's going to go for Volt Switch. It's going to do a decent chunklet, but it's taking me down to 50. He's going to go into the Lycanroc once more, and I go for the Lava Plume. And unfortunately, once again, not quite going to snag that burn. Now this time I predict his switch out, because Sandslash is such a good switch in, Lurantis has to double in, I see it coming, going to go for the Lava Plume, catch the Sorina on the double and take it out, and that's a lovely little KO for Torkoal, and now we're in the Ascendancy. In comes Steelix. Big moment here, I'm like, I can go into Sandslash, it walls both this and Lycanroc, but he's Special Life Orb, and he gets a crit Earth Power. Now I can go for Earthquake and do, you know, half, and he's going to be able to take me out once more with the Earth Power, and down goes Sandslash, and now I have nothing for Lycanroc. So, gonna go into Archeops, and just go for the Z Earthquake, and just destroy this thing with a Tectonic Rage. Absolutely destroy it, not a chance of it being able to survive. But in comes Lycanroc, I have no switching, so I'm just going to have to let Archeops go down to the Stone Edge. Now I'm going to go into my Kadabra and try and bluff that Scarf, which, if I'd have brought it, would have been very nice. Because he's going to go into Rotom, I am going to go for the Psychic that will take out the Rotom, but I'm Life Orb not Scarfed, which is unfortunate. In comes the Rabombi. And I'm going to go into Torkoal. He's going to go for the Bug Buzz, and it's not going to do a huge whole amount. But as you'll see on the subsequent turn, he is packing a super effective hidden power. Grounds maybe, I'd suspect that with a Fairy. And now I'm going to go into Kadabra once more, and unfortunately he just goes for the Bug Buzz. Takes me straight out because I can't outspeed. So I'm going to go into Zangoose here. Now I'll take a Moonblast. Zangoose is a bit bulkier than Kadabra. I'm going to go for the Facade, which won't take it out because I'm not Toxic, but I do now have my Toxic Orb, and I can just go for the Quick Attack and take out the Rabombi. But unfortunately he does have that Lycanroc left, who will be outspeeding me. Just to make sure of it, he's going to go for the Excel Rock, and that will take out Zangoose, and that is going to be the game. So, it's a new league, it's a new group of people to face off against, it's a new draft, and in our first game, we lose to Hacks again. And I'm saying that because we absolutely 100% did. If that Steelix had not crit Sandslash, I'd have seen that he's special, I'd have seen he's going for Earth Power, I'd have gone, no, into Archeops, gone for the Tectonic Rage, and even if that hadn't taken him out, I could have revenged with like Zangoose or anything, and I would have had Sandslash left to deal with that Lycanroc. And I've worked it out. If his Steelix high rolls without a crit, I'm left at like 45%. Even if he's Adamant Banned, he can barely do 25. So he would have been dead completely. I'd have won it 1-0. So no matter what anyone says, I lost that game 100% to Hacks again. It doesn't matter what league I go to. It really doesn't. I'm always going to lose a game to Hacks. It's getting annoying now. It's actually getting annoying. I don't bear Todd any ill will. He brought an unexpected set. It worked out for him. It wouldn't have done, but it did this time, so all fair play to him. His links, by the way, Todd's, if he has them, I'm sure he does. Actually, I'm not sure that he does, but if they are, his links will be down in the description. Make sure, if they're there, that you do check him out. So we lose, unfortunately, 1-0 to powers beyond our control, as usual. But we're going to try and get back on board with this. This is league basically just kind of for fun, just to use NU stuff. Our next game is up against Magic, aka David, and FC Poplio. That's going to be an entertaining one. So look forward to that. I'm not sure we'll be up probably next week. So yeah, look forward to that. There's going to be loads of league content. I've entered myself into like 6 leagues at the moment. So there's going to be a lot of league content coming your way. This is just one of them. Hope you're enjoying seeing some NU stuff get used. And yeah, more to come. So keep your eyes peeled. But that is going to be it from me. I've rambled on far too long. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.